Hare Krishna, I welcome everybody to Bhakti Vikasa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Keshav Anand Prabhuji to enlighten us on topic Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 22 chapter, 40th verse. Hare Krishna, Keshav Anand Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much Prabhuji for joining and giving your valuable assistance and time this morning. We are very, very fortunate to have you on the call Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Take over the call, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Okay, so we are scheduled to speak on 4th canto, 22nd chapter, 40th verse. And this is the continuation of 4 Kumaras instructing Lord Prithu. So this is the 40th verse. Let me just chant this and then we'll talk about it. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The verse is Kricho Mahaneha Bhavarnavam Aplavesham Shadvarganakrama Sukhena Titireshanti Tattvam Harer Bhagavato Bhajaniyamangrim Krityodupam Vyasanam Uttaradustararnam. Okay, translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. The ocean of these science is very difficult to cross because it is infested with many dangerous sharks. Although those who are non-devotees undergo severe austerities and penances to cross that ocean, we recommend that you simply take shelter of lotus feet of the Lord, which are the like boats for crossing the ocean. Although the ocean is difficult to cross, by taking shelter of his lotus feet, you will overcome all dangers. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Material existence is compared here into great ocean of nescience. Another name of this ocean is Vaitarani. In that Vaitarani ocean, which is the causal ocean, there are innumerable universes floating like footballs. Footballs, interesting word. On the other side of the ocean is spiritual word of Vaikuntha, which is described in Bhagavad Gita 8.20, Parastasmai tu bhavanya. Thus there is an ever-existing spiritual nature which is beyond this material nature. Even though all material universes are annihilated again and again in this causal ocean, Vaikuntha planets which are spiritual exist eternally and are not subject to dissolution. The human form of life gives a living entity a chance to cross the ocean of nescience, which is this material universe, and enter into spiritual sky. Although there are many methods or boats by which one to cross the ocean, the Kumaras recommend that the king take shelter of lotus feet of Lord, just as one would take shelter of a good boat. Non-devotees who take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet try to cross the ocean of nescience by other methods, who do not take the shelter, by karma, jnana, yoga, but they have dealt great deal of trouble. Indeed, sometimes they become so busy simply enjoying their troubles. Oh, it is interesting. Sometimes they become so busy enjoying their troubles that they never cross the ocean. There is no guarantee that non-devotees will cross the ocean, but even though they manage to cross, they have to undergo severe austerities and penances. On the other hand, anyone who takes to the process of devotional service has faith that the lotus feet of the Lord are safe boats to cross that ocean, and certain to cross very easily and comfortably. Prithu Maharaj therefore advised to take the boat of lotus feet of Lord to easily cross over all dangers. Dangerous elements in the universe are compared to sharks in the ocean. Even though one may be very expert swimmer, he cannot possibly survive if he is attacked by sharks. One often sees that so many so-called swamis and yogis sometimes advertise themselves as competent to cross the ocean of nescience and to help others cross, but in actuality, they are found to be simply victims of their own senses. Instead of helping their followers to cross the ocean of nescience, such swamis and yogis fall prey to Maya, represented by fair sex women. What's the difference between fair sex women? Anyway, fair sex women, and are thus devoured by the sharks in that ocean. Okay, so interesting verse. Text 40, and let's discuss this. Om Jnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Sarasdevi Gauravani Kuchat Shunyavadi Pashad Deshtarine Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay, so what is happening here? The word used is kricho. Mahan Bhavarnavam Aplavesha. Very interesting verse, because this word Kricho is used many times, not many times, but almost used everywhere when there's a discussion of spirituality. For example, 12th chapter, Krishna uses Kricho in some other sense. He uses the word Klesha, which is again troublesome. He says, Klesho adhiktarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyaktai gatir dukkha. Krishna says, it's so troublesome for those who are attached to impersonal Brahman to advance. But anybody who is attached to my form, Sarva Durgani, he crosses all the troubles very easily. So here's another synonym of Kricha. Klesha is one synonym which is used in Bhagavad Gita. Durgani also means troubles, which is again used in Bhagavad Gita. And this word is used by Brahmaji in Srimad Bhagavatam in 10th canto, 14th chapter. Also in 2nd canto it's used, where it is said, what's that verse? What's that verse? Transcendentalists, they, by so much trouble they advance, but ultimately they fall down. Yushmadanangriya Nadrita. I'm just forgetting the first line of that. Because they do offense at a lotus feet, they'll fall down. And so there also the word Kricha is used. So this word Kricha means troublesome. The synonyms of Kricha are Klesha in Sanskrit dictionary, or Durgani. These are the synonyms. So what these Kumars are saying, what is troublesome? Of course, they're saying Kricho Mahan. They're saying this is not just a trouble, it is a very big trouble in front of us. And I think the greatest trouble in our lives are that we don't recognize that there's a trouble. And that's what Chandogya Upanishad says. Any person who can recognize that he is in trouble, he is qualified for spirituality. That's the first step in spirituality. Because most of the times we don't realize that we're in a big trouble. Because if we would have, as devotees, we realize to a certain extent that we are in birth, that this is old age. But there's a depth of realization that in how much trouble we are. There's a depth. So we don't realize that the trouble is so big trouble. That's why the word used Mahan is used. Such a big trouble that there are problems outside, inside, upside down. In fact, devotees there's so much trouble that they're forced to say in Mangalarti, we say Samsara Dava Nala. There's a forest fire. There's a forest fire. There's trouble of diseases. There's trouble of mind. There's trouble by other people. Yat padam yat vipadam. There are problems. The greatest trouble in this world is that at every step we are prone to forget Krishna. That's the greatest trouble. This material world is designed to make us forget God. Every atom of this world, including our bodies, including our mind, including our ego, including our intelligence, is designed to distract us from spirituality. You can imagine how much big trouble we are. I mean to say, we are supposed to serve God. We are made to serve God. And here we are put in a place which is designed to make us not serve Him, to distract from that path. And actually not only that, we are fed with a software, a mind, and we are given this hardware which we are forced to use to interact with this world. At the same time, this is our enemy. So suppose if you live in a house and you have to live with your enemy, you're forced to do that, how much trouble you are. So that's what Kricho Mahan, they say. It's very troublesome. And what exactly is troubling us? Let's pinpoint what exactly is troubling us in this material world. What? Okay, earth, water, fire, and ether. Well, that's not really troublesome because that's dead. What is troubling us? Our bodies? Well, body is also dead. Our mind, that's a dead thing. Our intelligence, that's also dead. Our egos, that's also a subtle dead element. Ahankar, Mahatattva. So what's so troublesome? Well, the troublesome is Iha Bhavarnabam Iha. Now this word Iha, Prabhupada translates as in this life, here. Iha means here, in this life, Iha. But there's another meaning of Iha, by the way. If today morning I was talking about that, if you see Sanskrit dictionary, the meaning, the Sanskrit word for desire is Iha. One of the Sanskrit word of desire is Iha. If you see Amarkosh, Sanskrit dictionary, the word desire has many synonyms. And for example, Akanksha is one synonym, which we can all understand as Hindi people. And then what else? Ichha is there, it's the same thing. Spriha, that also means desires. Sparsh, that also means desires. And Iha, that means desires. So this life, this material world is also called as Iha. And desires are also called as Iha. You see the connection there? And why they're called Iha? Because this material world means the problem in this material world is not matter. That's not the problem. The problem in this material world is a desire to enjoy that matter. That's the problem there. So we have to pinpoint the problem, otherwise we'll be confused. I mean to say, yogis and jnanis, they run away from matter and material things and body, and they can't diagnose the problem, and that's why if you can't diagnose the problem, you can't treat it properly. The patient doesn't get cured. So that's the whole problem, the Iha. So that's why scripture says you should be free from Iha, Aniha. Aniha word is used when Prahlad, he prays to Lord Nrsimhadev, O Lord, make me Aniha, make me free of desires. Or in other words, make me a person which doesn't belong to this material world. Iha means material world. Aniha means I don't want to be a person who belongs to this material world. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be identified with this word that this person is earthly being. No, I don't want that. So that's Iha. So the Kritshat, what is the great trouble here? The greatest trouble in this material world is desire, to enjoy this material world. There's a famous poet, Bhartrihari, who lived in Ujjain, and he was a devout follower of Lord Shiva, and previous to his saintly life, he was a king. He renounced everything. He became a great devotee, and he wrote 2 books, Vairagya Shatakam and Shringara Shatakam. They are available on net. You can see them. You can read Vairagya Shatakam but please don't read Shringara Shatakam, because if you read that, it's almost like a XXX movie. That's all. That's pornography in Sanskrit. So Sanskrit also has pornography materials. Sanskrit is, I mean to say, I didn't used to believe that, because Sanskrit is Dev Bhasha. It's supposed to be clean language, but it's not like that. There is adultery in Sanskrit. There are books written on adultery in Sanskrit. I've read documents in Sanskrit where they have made verses, they have composed verses which glorifies the Lord, and at the same time it is full of abuses. If you read one way, it's abuses. If you read the other way, it is glorifying the Lord. And by the way, I can't even speak those abuses. Those abuses are absolutely F-word, let me say. So that's Sanskrit. It's supposed to be their bhasha, but it's supposed to be complex, and people can, even demigods, they can speak Sanskrit in a way that that on externally they might be praising you, but internally they might be like, what can I say? They might be like screwing you up. It's interesting to read Sanskrit in that way. Anyway, it's besides the point. The point is bhavarnavam, that iha, the point is iha. So the whole problem is desire. So that Bhartrihari, he says in Vairagya Shatakam, he speaks about desires at a length, and he says how much dangerous these desires are. Now well, we are talking about material desires, not spiritual desires. How much danger these material desires are. Why? Because he says people keep on fulfilling their desires in the hope that they will fulfill their desires one day. But what happens is, just like a man who drinks liquor and he thinks drinking liquor is so nice and it will make him happy, and if he keeps on drinking, one day he finds that, and he comes to a realization dawns upon him, if it does, that, well, he was not drinking the liquor was drinking him, and he becomes sick and dies. So the wine not just did drink him, but the wine drinks his very life and kills him. Similarly, desires, entire life we feel that we are fulfilling desires one after another, and we can fulfill desires and we can be happy. By the end of the life, you will realize that, well, we were not fulfilling desires, we were not enjoying desires, but desires were enjoying us. Desires were becoming happy, that we are destroying him. It was happening the other way around. So that is what desires is. Bhartrihari says it's so dangerous. Bhartrihari says, I have not seen even a single person who is happy, who is entertaining desire, who is having the desire to enjoy this material world. I have not seen even a single person. The only person I have seen in this material world who is happy is who is desireless, who is akinchana, who is akama, who is ekantite. Today we were reading that. So that's the whole trouble there. And if you're free of this material desires, the desire to enjoy this material world, then you're liberated. That's all. That's the whole thing we are doing here. That's any yoga, any spiritual system, any religion is just focused on one thing: being free of material desires. That's all. That's all. That's what the problem lies. And then it says, because of the desires, what happened? Iha bhavarnavam. Bhava means material existence. Arnava means ocean. Person becomes drowned in the ocean of material existence. That one desires that there's one desire to enjoy this material world, and it multiplies into millions and millions and millions and countless of desires. You see how dangerous even one desire is there. We came in this world because we want to enjoy independently without Krishna. That's the original desire. And because of that, we got another desire, the desire to enjoy matter. And because of that, we get then millions of desires, enjoy this. It just multiplies exponentially. I don't even think so. It multiplies exponentially. It multiplies, let's say, beyond exponential. What's that? There's one geometric progression, exponential progression, and then there's another progression which expands very fast. There's exponential to exponential. It goes like that. Within few seconds, it becomes millions and infinite, and you can't count it. So it is I think exponential to exponential. So that is what is this material world all about. It just explodes. Even in fraction of seconds, our desires explodes into millions of desires. That's what is bhavarnavam. And then we are drowning in this ocean of material existence. That is ocean of material existence. So what to do? That's the whole question. What to do? So well, many people thought about this problem. Not just today, I mean to say, throughout history, people were thinking about this problem. Because, I mean to say, yeah, many people don't even recognize this is a problem, but many do. And these are not people who are spiritualists. These are people who are philosophers, who are yogis, who are even I mean to say, who are even, who are religion, theologians, theosophy, historians, all of them, they can see that the whole problem is desires. Even historians, I mean to say, people who read Mahabharata, Ramayana, Greek history, Roman history, the world history, they can see the whole problem, big wars and battles. Why? Just because of desire for kingdom. They kill each other. Why? Because of desires. And they come to this conclusion. This conclusion is inevitable if somebody is reading, analyzing philosophy or history or religion. It's inevitable. The end will be the whole problem is desires. Unless you are a mad person or you're not just interested in the subject. Otherwise, anybody who is in pursuit of truth, he will come to realize that the whole problem is desires. So, what to do? Everybody thought about this solution and they came up with different solution. That's the whole point there. They came up, and that's the word used, 𝗪𝗲𝗪 𝗪𝗲𝗀. They came up with so many solutions, but all those solutions were devoid of God. That's the word used, 𝗪𝗲𝗪 𝗪𝗲𝗀. Plavam means rowing a boat or shelter. You take, because it's the ocean, you're drowning in the ocean of material existence. So the word uses plava. Plava means boat. How do you not drown in the ocean? By using a boat. Plava. And the word you hear is aplava. Now these people, they wanted to cross the ocean without a boat. That was the whole, the boat of God. Plava, aplava, isham. Isham, plava means boat, isha means God. The boat of God. Aplava isa means they didn't want to use the boat of God. Why? Because they were atheist. That's all. So even if they knew or even if they heard, I mean to say, Christianity was there, Islam was there, and they were hearing that God is the way. He is the way to be debt-free of sufferings and these material desires, and be at peace and satisfaction and happiness. But they didn't really opt for this option. Why? Because because they were atheists. They didn't like God. They hated God. So basically, these were non-devotees, and they came up with their whole ideas, different kind of ideas, meditation, just like today. So many types of meditation and Buddhism and many philosophies like Buddhism, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Karma, and they propose their own solution to this problem of desires. Mayavadis and blah blah blah. These were non-devotees. So what happened was, they came up with so many solutions, but what happened was Shadvarga Nakram. But they had a big fight. I mean to say, if you're not in a boat, and if you try to cross an ocean just by swimming by yourself, then there are problems. And the big problem is sharks. They can eat you. Even if you're very strong and if you can cross the ocean, and if you don't get tired, and you're very determined, very strong in mind, well, I will be able to do it. But the whole point is what you will do with sharks. So there are sharks. What kind of sharks are there? Shadvarga, that's the whole point, Shadvarga. Now this word Shadvarga is one of the names of Lord Vishnu used in Vishnu Sahasranam. Shadvargam, what's that? So how does Vishnu Sahasranam begin? You know that? Om Vishnu Sahasranam. How does it begin, Vishnu Sahasranam? I just forgot.
Shuklam Baradaram Vishnum Shashivaranam.
No, Vishnu Sahasranam, first verse. The first verse of Vishnu Sahasranam. Oh, yeah, okay. Bhut Bhavve Bhavat Prabhu. Is it like that? Bhuta Bhavve Bhavat Prabhu. in that verse, right in the first or second verse, this word Shad Varga comes. Shad Varga, in that verse only Shad Varga comes. Who is Lord? He is the one who can control this Shad Varga. Actually, I think you have to see your net somewhere. Anyway, the word comes Shad Varga. Do you have net? No. Okay. So he is the controller of Shad Varga. So, but here the whole problem in that ocean is Shad Varga. What are these sharks? Sharks are Shad Varga. What are these Shad Varga? These are Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsarya. One way to look at Shad Varga is, Shad means 6 and Varga means categories, let's say. Varg in Sanskrit means categories or components, Varga. So there are 6 types of sharks in that ocean. And what are those types? 6 categories of sharks. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsarya. And they have to fight with them. Why? Simply because they didn't opt to sit on the boat. If you are sitting on the boat, you don't have to fight the sharks. It's gone. You are sitting on the boat, that's all. They can't do anything. So they have to fight with the sharks. Or you can say 6 senses, all the 6, including mind. Manasashtani Indriyani. See that? That's 6 senses. They have to fight with the 6 senses. And it's a big problem there. You have to fight and fight and fight and fight and fight and fight. I mean to say, they want to cross the ocean, but the entire energy is sucked up in fighting with these senses, with these sharks. And by the way, this nakram, this word nakram, sharks, it's also used in Nectar of Devotion. Prabhupada, if you read the introduction of the first chapter of Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada uses these sharks, and he compares these sharks to big philosophers and Mayavadis. Because Rupa Goswami says, I'm writing this Nectar of Devotion, and this ocean of devotion, I'm trying to bring this in this material world from spiritual world. And there will be people who will be really shark-like, ready to eat, envious philosophers and Mayavadis who will want to destroy my work by their stupid and hair-splitting logic, and people will be confused. So Rupa Goswami prays to Krishna, Krishna, I pray to you, please protect my work from the hands of these sharks, because so that this work should not be destroyed. And that's why you see no Mayavadi has written a commentary on Nectar of Devotion. By the way, they don't even touch Nectar of Devotion. Nectar of Devotion is not so famous outside Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Even Mayavadis don't really bother about it. Rupa Goswami prays, please protect this work from these sharks, these nonsense, useless people who are always ready to bite and eat and destroy these mundane philosophers and Mayavadis. So this is another problem in the ocean. These people who are non-devotees, who have devised their own ways to cross the ocean, who are not on the boat and simply swimming, and they think they can swim. First of all, they are attacked by these sharks, by all this lust, anger, greed, and their whole senses are a problem. They're fighting with that. Another thing is they're fighting with other philosophers, because they're non-devotees. As non-devotees, they have to establish their opinion. And when you are proposing some opinion in this material world, there have to be various opponents. There will be opponents. This material world is like that. You can't do anything with that. There will be opponents. Even the most righteous man on the planet, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he had enemies. So opposition must be there. And these people, they were facing opposition, and they were fighting with them, philosophies, debates, and this and that and that and that and that. And what happens when you're fighting and fighting, and you want to cross the ocean, and you're swimming, and you're strong, and you can do that, but the whole point is the whole energy is sucked up in fighting. Then it becomes asukham. The word is asukhena. It becomes so unhappy procedure. So unhappy. That's why they say They say for non-devotees to cross this ocean of material existence is such unhappy. So, I mean to say, to get rid of one trouble, they'll end up into another trouble. That's the whole point. A stress management course. And while you are offering stress management course, you yourself become stressed out. That's what happens. The solution for stress management makes you more stressed than the stress itself. That's what it happens. Because it doesn't work. That's the whole point. Sukhena titirshanti. And these people, they can't cross the ocean. So, what is Kumara's advice? Kumara says, well, you know what, Prithu? We were like them. You see, opinion of Kumaras are very important because they were impersonalists, they were Gyanis, and they said, Prithu, we were like them. So that's why you take our opinion. And our opinion is that you tattvam harer bhagavato. Tattvam. You. Tat means that. Tvam means you. You take shelter of that. For that harer of Hari. You take shelter of that Hari. Tattvam. Or you can say tattvam. Tattvam means if you combine this word tattvam, in Sanskrit it's a combined word tattvam, by the way. But then they divide into tattvam. But if you say tattvam, you take shelter of tattva. Tattva means reality, vastavikta, vedyam vastavam, vastu atra shivadam. Take shelter of reality. And what is reality? Harer bhagavato. Reality is Krishna, Hari. And who is Krishna? God. So you take shelter of Krishna. Bhajniyam angrim. And you serve him. And you serve his lotus feet. Angri means lotus feet. You serve his lotus feet. In other words, you serve him with complete awareness that he's God. And he can do impossible possible. He can make everything possible. With this awareness. That is why they said Angri, lotus feet. Lotus feet, why they use the word lotus feet? Because you should have faith. Faith that he can do anything. In Trivikram Avatar, he measured the entire universe in just 2 steps. Who can do that? I mean to say, Vamandev, he was just a dwarf. And suddenly he measured the whole universe in 2 steps. That's not even impossible. That is beyond impossible. If from external point of view, if we really from calculative point of view. So he says Bhajniyam Angrim. Angrim, they don't say Bhajniya, eyes, Nayanam, Bhajniya, Vani, Bhajniya, Gamanam, Bhajniya, Madhuram. No, they say Bhajniya, Angrim, lotus feet. And why? Because lotus feet represents Dasya Bhav, the attitude of servitude. So you should serve him, but with a service attitude. That's the whole point. Bhajniya means serve, Angri means service attitude. So when you serve him with service attitude means with complete awareness that he is God, he can do anything, he is great, he is mighty, with the awareness of his power. That's the whole point there. Not just sweetness, but with awareness of his power. When you do that, then what happens? Kritva udupam vyasanam uttaradustaranam. Then kritva udupam. Then you are on the boat. One of the you see synonyms of boat. One of the synonym of boat is plava. Another synonym of the boat is udupam. Udupi. There, Udupi. Udupam also means moon, by the way. Udupi also means moon. It also means boat. And boat and moon are connected, isn't it? These lovers, they sit on the boat, on the lake, in a full moon light. So boat and moon are somehow connected because even water is connected to moon. So Udupam, that's the whole point. That's why this word Udupam is used. They didn't use any other synonym of boat. They use udupam. Why? Because you take shelter of the boat. And what kind of boat is that? It is the moon of Lord Krishna. That's all. It's Krishna Chandra. Take shelter of Krishna Chandra. What happens is Vyasanam, and then you will be free of all these dangers. Naturally, if you sit on the boat, you are free of sharks. You don't have to fight with them. You don't even have to swim hard against waves and this and that. You simply have to sit. You can even sleep on the boat, and the boat keeps on moving. And in the morning, you get up and you're on the shore. That is devotion. That's what Sanat Kumar are recommending. Do devotion. You want to cross this ocean. Now, this whole verse is establishing the supremacy of devotion over other processes. Philosophically, we talk about that. Sanat Kumar, they're trying to impress Prithu. Prithu, nothing will work. Neither yoga, neither jnana, neither karma. Only devotion works. Why we can tell? Because we were like that and we changed to devotees. And there's a proof in Srimad Bhagavatam. There's evidence, and you can see. We went to Vaikuntha, we smelled the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, Tulsi smell, leaves, and we changed. So Pritva Udupam, Vyasanam, you will cross the dangers. Now the word uses Vyasanam. Vyasanam also means Vyasan means all kind of bad habits. Bad habits which are made out of bad desires. You'll cross bad desires, you will cross bad habits, Vyasanam, very easily. And Uttara, Dustara, Arnam. Uttara means cross, Dustara means, which is very difficult to cross, Uttara, Dustara. Uttara also means answers, Uttar. You will get Vyasanam Uttaram. Vyasanam Uttaram means you will get all answers to your bad habits. If you combine, this word is combined, Vyasanam Uttaram. So Vyasanam Uttaram, you will get all answers to your bad habits. You will get answers how to break your bad habits. You will get answers to your problems. If you identify the problems in your heart, this is my problem, lust is my problem, what's the answer? You'll get answers. You will get it if you simply take Lord Krishna, Krishna Chandra, in the form of his holy names. If you chant properly, you'll automatically get answers to all your habits, bad habits, all your problems. And you will see the way out of this puzzling quagmire, this complex, what can we say, this complex fable, let's say. It's such a complex system, and you of desires, where you can get lost easily, and you'll find the way out. And that's what Krishna says, Adami Buddhi Yogantam. So Vyasnam Uttara, you'll get all answers. So why to ask answers to anybody else? Just take shelter of Lord Krishna in form of his knowledge and in form of his holy names. So we have Gita and we have Hare Krishna mantra. That's practically enough, I tell you. That's enough. You don't need any other thing. You can read other things, you can read other books, but this is sufficient in itself. That kind of conviction we should have. And then we should serve them properly. We should chant nicely. And that's what I was just talking to one other devotee. I have not seen even a single devotee chanting nicely. Sorry to say that, but that's my experience. That's not a statistics. That's not a research thing. But I've seen devotees not chanting properly. I mean to say, I'm not talking about chanting with a proper attitude or with consciousness. I'm saying simply chanting properly. So people try to finish their rounds and try to speed up their chanting like bullets. But that's not how you chant. You chant with a lot of love and you chant slowly. Slowly means not really, I mean to say, at least not fast like machine gun. That's not the whole point there. So that's, you see the point, Uttara. Uttara means you get all answers. And then Dustara. And and if you combine Uttara with Dustara, you will get answers to very difficult questions. Dustara means difficult. Very difficult questions. I mean to say, first of all, you get answers to all your bad habits, Vyasanam Uttara. And then Uttara Dustara. You will get all answers to all the difficulties, all the difficult spiritual questions. There are many doubts even in spirituality. I mean to say, now we are not talking about bad habits. We are talking about subtle doubts in spirituality. And you will get Uttara for that also. Simply by taking shelter of holy names. Uttara, Dustara, Arnam. And if you combine Dustara, Arnam, Dustara means Arnam, this is a very difficult ocean. You will cross it very easily. Easily means very happily. And though those people who are non-devotees, they are sukhena. They were so unhappy. But devotees are very happily cross. Easily means happily, or happily means easily. But I mean to say, this doesn't mean that there is no struggle on the path of devotion. There is struggle, but it's not in the same proportion as those non-devotees. And also, it's not alone. God is on our side. He is fighting for us. He fights for us. So, and that's what Bhagavad Gita says, Manushanam sahasreshu kashyat siddhayatatam api siddhanam kashyan mam veti tatvataha. Many people, they try to attain perfection in spiritual life. Out of those many, one takes shelter of me. Out of those who take shelter of me, one attains me. So why they take shelter of him? They take shelter of him because they understand that by any other process, this material ocean cannot be crossed. It's impossible. So that's Uttara Dustara. So that's how it goes. This whole verse of Bhagavatam, it can be understood many ways, but this is what Sanat Kumaras are trying to convey to Prithu Maharaj. They're trying to convey him, try to convince him that this is, or through him to others, that you see, devotion is the best process, it's the topmost process. It's the topmost process. All the processes fail in front of devotion. And that's their whole point there. And the authority in this, first of all, and second of all, they say we were like them and we switched on to devotion. So who else is better than us to tell you this, that devotion is the highest process? Because we have tasted the lower processes. And we're telling you. Okay, if you want to do the same mistake, that's your problem. But we are telling you, if you accept, you'll save a lot of time and you'll be safe and secure. That is the opinion of all these Kumaras. Okay, Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You can ask me anything, I'm done.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for as always, very interesting class. So I had a couple of questions here. One, in this word-to-word meaning words that is being used, isn't the word iha used and it's not iha, right? Because iha is desire and iha is here, right? They're supposed to be in different...
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there are... You can say iha or iha. Yeah, there's a big E and small e. And that is right. You're right in that. But you see, the whole point is the word there is mahan iha. There's a compound word there. Mahan iha. Of course, if you break it, it comes iha. Doesn't come iha.
Right.
So, but at the same time, in Sanskrit, sometimes what happens is, although it is small word e, but if you take it philosophically, you can convert it into big matra. How it happens? It happens because in Sanskrit, see, Sanskrit is a language where you can change day into night and night into day. Like, for example, I'll give you an example in Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, Madhva says, Madhva comments on 15th chapter. So he says, Asanga Shastrena Dridena Chitva. Krishna says that asanga shastrena dridena chitva. So he says, okay, okay, fine. Wait, don't take this example. Take another example. In Bhagavatam, Narad Muni says, asankalpa jayat kama. Asankalpa jayat kama. So he says, okay, you can conquer lust. Jayat means conquer, kama means lust. How? By asankalpa. He says, if you don't have sankalpa, you can conquer lust. Now that is absurd. You should have sankalpa to conquer lust, isn't it? If you don't have proper determination, you can't conquer lust. But the whole point, Narad Muni is saying, well, if you don't have sankalpa to enjoy this material world, then you can conquer lust.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's a different way of saying, and the whole logic, why he's saying that's another logic. But the whole point is, although sankalpa means, in traditional sense, sankalpa means determination, but sankalpa is used in a very positive way, but Narad Muni uses here it in a negative way in Sanskrit. So in Sanskrit, although it is small e, mahan iha, in this material world, but the dictionary says, or grammar says, well, if any material word is always, philosophically, if you talk about this material word iha, it is always linked to this material desires. This material word is all about material desires. So because philosophically you can link it with desires, so you can change small e into big E. There's no fault in that.
Okay.
So that's how it goes. So.
And the other question was about, in the purport, we do see this river Vaitarani, and Vaitarani we see in different contexts throughout Bhagavatam. Sometimes the same Vaitarani is used to describe a river in the hellish planet, whereas here it is used to describe a river, it is used to describe the causal ocean itself. So why, is there any specific reason why Vaitarani is used instead of Viraja here, or is there any, or is it
because Virja is not used in a negative sense. Virja is one of the gopis of Krishna. That's why.
Okay, I get that. It's not used in a negative sense. So it's only used when you say you have to cross an ocean of nescence. The word Vaitarani, correct? Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dharma Pranams. Can I put forward my question?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. My question is, the entire verse dealt with overcoming material desires to cross the Vaitani river and get access to Vaikuntha and Golok, right? That's the crux of the, right? So how do we overcome, practically speaking, how do we overcome attachment with fellow devotees, with fellow people with whom we deal in our ISKCON movement or in the spiritual life? How do we overcome that? Because that can also pull us down. Or can you throw some light on it?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This question is quite a subtle question, but so the question is, in other words, first question is, should we be attached to devotees or not? In one sense, Ramchandra Sankamange Narottam's Dasa, Narottam Das Thakur was attached to Ramchandra. They were big friends. Srinivasacharya was very much attached to Shyamanand Pandit, also Narottam Das Thakur, and also few of his friends were there. We see in Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition that they were attached to each other. But at the same time, this attachment, what Gaudiya Vaishnava devotees had with each other, they were because of Krishna, not a personal attachment. That was not personal. It was through Krishna. It was not just mundane attachment between devotees. Now, in our institution or any other institution, spiritual institution, if we are getting mundane attachment to devotees, in the sense, to suppose, then you have to ask how differentiate between mundane attachment and spiritual attachment. So how do you do that? So if it is spiritual attachment, that's not wrong. But then what is the difference between spiritual and mundane attachment? Mundane attachment is wrong. So mundane attachment is through, mundane attachment is there is not Krishna, but there is just a, I mean to say, you're just friends with somebody and you're attached, and there's no Krishna. There's, or the element of devotion is less. The element of friendship is more. That's how it goes. The whole idea is mundane attachment is if you're attached to devotees without Krishna, then what practically was going to happen is you will be talking nonsense with them. Just politics and this and that, you'll not be discussing about Krishna. That happens 90% of the times. People meet, devotees meet, and they're talking something else. Everything in this world except Krishna. And they're fault finding, they're talking about devotees, they're talking about management, which they have no concern with, especially congregation. And then what kind of attachment? And then they say, oh, we are devotees, get together and we are attached. But that's called mundane attachment. Spiritual attachment will always bring discussions of Krishna, not any mundane topic. So that kind of attachment is good, spiritual. Mundane attachment is not good, but 90% of times, because we are mundanely attached, so we don't talk about Krishna, and that association harms us more than benefiting us. And then that's why there are fights and this and that, and specifically I mean to say, if you are mundane attached to devotees, and when you chant, you'll be thinking of devotees. This is like that, this is like that, that is like that. Because attachment not only brings happiness, but it also brings hate. Attachment brings drag and dvesh, negative, positive, both. So it doesn't necessarily brings happiness and joy always. So yeah, but then if you are mundanely attached to devotees, what to do? What's the solution there? So the solution there is, if we are mundanely attached, then scripture says, well, that's wrong and you have to overcome this. How to overcome mundane attachment is, well, if they don't talk about Krishna, you talk about Krishna. Prabhupada said to one of his letters, one devotee wrote a letter to Prabhupada, what is this? Nobody talks about Krishna. Prabhupada says, you talk about Krishna and avoid talking mundane things. Because you cannot avoid meeting devotees, isn't it? You can't avoid meeting devotees. And people whom you meet, you can't avoid attachment to them. It is natural human psychology. But if you're more attached to Krishna, much more attached to Krishna than people around you, and that's what actually so not only this, I mean, this Madhva even says to one of his nearest disciple, who was at Madhav Tirth, so one of his servants and disciple. All these Akshobhya Tirth, Narari Tirth, Madhav Tirth, Padmanabh Tirth, and all these, they were traveling with Madhva, and Madhva said to them, don't be much attached to me also. The whole point is, I mean to say, Madhva was a guru, so don't we have to be attached to guru? Well, what he meant was that if you're excessively attached only to me, and not my teachings and instructions, so you'll always be thinking about me, but then you will not be following my instructions and you'll not be attaining devotion to Krishna. So what's the use? That is mundane attachment to Guru. So be attached to me, but the attachment should make you enthusiastic to follow my instructions. That is true attachment. So that is why if we attach to devotees, it should inspire you to think about Krishna, discuss about Krishna. But if it doesn't happen, you discuss about Krishna. And those devotees who are not simply interested in hearing about Krishna, leave the association. That's all. Otherwise, bring this atmosphere of Krishna consciousness. So then it will be spiritual attachment, and then it will help us to advance in Krishna consciousness. That's the whole trick. But better than that is, but then the question is, okay, now I have to discuss about Krishna, but we are also not interested to discuss about Krishna. And when we go with devotees, the whole atmosphere is like that. You tend to get pulled down. So the best thing is, attachment will always be there, but we have to take a higher attachment. That's the trick. So if we attach ourselves to Krishna via devotion and intensity, then those other attachments will just fall away. they'll become insignificant. And then wherever you'll go, you'll be simply be talking about Krishna, and you'll not forget him. And that's how we overcome the mundane attachments to devotees, and even our Guru. That's why it goes like that.
Even though we are favorably disposed towards a particular set of God brothers, sisters, or disciples, do we follow the same principle? Because 90% in our movement we focus on association, sadhu sangha, but then
I know. I mean to say.
Then
the whole point
we lag
is
behind in association. Like my personal
No, it's not like that. I mean to. No, you're right. I mean to say you're right. I mean there are so many God brothers. I also have God brothers, but then many of our God brothers are not absolutely interested in talking about Krishna. They're interested in talking about mundane nonsense. So what to do? You're right. What to do? But then if you don't go as well with devotees, then you're left alone, and that's the whole problem there. So okay, you can go to the programs and you can attend, and you can take the best and leave the rest. And if you find your God brothers, they're not, I mean to say, they are good people, but at the same time, if they are on mundane platform, then what to do? Then go attend. Maybe if you are in a position to inspire them to talk about Krishna. But if you're not, attend, come back and do your own business, that's all. And you can keep on going and try to inspire them to talk about Krishna, that's all. I mean to say, you can't even really cut off, because then you'll be left alone. So that's, I think, that's all. It's pretty unfortunate situation in Kali Yuga. What to do, it's pretty chaotic. But at the same time, the principle works. Whether they are God brothers or not God brothers, if we are not in good association, we are going to go down. That's how it goes.
Okay,
so
thank
we
you
have to
so
be
much.
wise enough to,
Right. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Oh, you're there, huh? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a couple of things for you. Actually, at first I have to follow up on one of your answers to this last question. You were saying that the idea when it comes to Guru is to be more attached to the instructions than the personality. The attachment to the personality is meant to inspire our attachment to the instructions. But what would you say? What would you say in the case of when a person may be attached to the instructions, but not so much to the personality of the Guru? What do you say about that situation?
Yeah, I mean to say, no, that's okay. Because you see, in our parampara, if you say, okay, fine, if you say, okay, your question is, if we have to be attached more to the, I mean to say, okay, we have to be attached to the person, but only that person attachment should inspire us to follow the instructions. But if a person is attached to instructions and not the person, then what happens? But then you see a parampara. There's so many acharyas in parampara, you can't be attached to all of them. I mean to say, there's Madhvacharya, Jayatirth, you even don't, I mean to say, devotees even don't remember Jayatirth or Narahari Tirth or who is Akshobhya Tirth. He is there in parampara. And Bhaktivedanta says, parampara jan bhalo mate. Understand what is parampara. So they're there. Okay. So what about Vyasa Tirth? People even don't know who he is. At the same time, their teachings are summarized in our teachings. Parampara brings down the teachings, boils them, makes them sweet, and give it to us. That's the job of parampara. So the essential conclusions are there. So we read Madhvas. Because they are coming in parampara, we read their philosophy, we try to understand other sampradayas, Ramanuja, Vallabha, there are so many saints. So we, as a person, we are not attached to them. We are not attached to the personality, but we are attached to the instructions. And just by reading instructions, you tend to also become attached to personality automatically, because, so not in a very personal way, but as a person, I mean to say, when you understand the teachings of Vallabha, Ramanuja, they're so nice and you really appreciate them. These people were so great. And that kind of attachment is there. But if you talk about very personal attachment, okay, just like a living guru, I'm attached to that guru and this and that, and we are so very open. That doesn't matter to the least. I mean to say, many devotees, they didn't even meet their gurus often, and they were great devotees. Srila Prabhupada didn't meet Bhaktisiddhanta so much. His godbrothers met. Bhakti Vikasa Swami, they were like 24 hours with him. They were serving him Sundaran with Devanod. Prabhupada had very less association of Bhaktisiddhanta. But whatever he had discussions, but he was a great devotee. So person, as a person, that's where Prabhupada says always instructions and Vani is important. But the whole point is, if you are following the instructions nicely, and when the result comes, then automatically some attachment is there, isn't it? Automatically. You will start appreciating that person. It can't be blank, zero. But on the other hand, you see, on the other hand, if you say, I'm very friendly with my guru, and he speaks to me nicely, and we meet, and he's so comfortable with me, so that kind of thing, it might be there, it's good. If it is not there, it doesn't matter, because many times we see people are so friendly with their guru and this and that, but spiritually they are zero. And as a guru, as a saint, they will be friendly to everybody, isn't it? It's not for them, okay, if somebody's with them, they're talking with them, this and that, but that doesn't really matters much. It can be, it cannot be, okay. It matters in instructions.
Very beautiful answer. Yeah, so a person should not allow the lack of attachment to the personality to keep them from taking shelter of the guru. Is that correct?
What's that? Can you repeat? A person should not allow?
Yeah, a person in that situation who has attachment for the instructions but not for the personality should not allow their lack of attachment to the personality keep them from, say taking shelter. No, not following instructions, but taking. Well, yeah. How should I say? Well, let's say taking initiation from that personality.
Okay. Yeah. You're right. Absolutely. I mean to say, following instructions, if it's benefiting you, then just take shelter and you get initiated. That's all. I mean to say, it's not the question of attachment. You're right, actually, because many devotees, they say, my frequency doesn't matter. I'm not attached to that person. The teachings are good, but that personal issue. It's in fact that is very much in India. Indians are too much picky about these things, but at the same time, it should not hamper taking initiation. That's all. If the teachings are pure, if they are correct, and if it's benefiting you're following, just take shelter and get initiated, because ultimately it's your own journey, But the person, any person, they have to get initiated, because that's the official norm, and that has to be fulfilled, and that's what scripture says. So yeah, you're right. It should not hamper taking shelter and initiation.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was just asking for confirmation because I didn't know really myself if that was true or not. Okay. Yeah. Well, your answer was very, very nice, Prabhu. Thank you. Just a couple of vocabulary questions. You mentioned two words. One was Akanksha, because I'm interested in that one because I just happen to know somebody named Akanksha. What is Akanksha? Did you say it meant again? Akanksha.
What's that? Akanksha.
The word.
Oh, okay. Oh, desire. There's synonyms of desires. One is Akanksha. Akanksha is there. Another one is Ichha. Another one is Spriha.
But Akanksha, how do you spell Akanksha? A-K?
A-K-A-N-S-H-A.
Okay, Akanksha. Okay, and the other one you mentioned... Wait. A-K-A-N-K-S-H-A.
Akanksha.
Okay, very good. And then also tattvam. Tat means that, and tvam means what? Because then when you combine them, they mean tattva, right? So tvam, what is that? Your or me? Which one is it? Something
no,
like that.
No, tvam means you.
You.
Tvam means you, and tat means that. So either you can say you and that. So Kumara is saying that you please take shelter of that Krishna.
You take.
But
you take shelter of that.
Of that. And who is that Krishna? So one way you can understand this like that. But if you combine this word tattvam, it becomes tattvam. If you see Sanskrit, it's one word tattvam. Then there's another meaning. Tattvam means the reality. So Kumara is saying, you see all these non-devotees are trying to find their own solution, stupid solutions to cross this ocean, and not taking the boat. Why? Because they don't understand the reality. They don't understand that it's impossible to cross this ocean. They are in their own dreams and illusions that they can swim and cross, but they don't know there are so many sharks and so many waves and so much problems in this ocean. It's impossible. It is an intangible puzzle. You'll not be able to solve it. So why? Because tattvam, because they don't understand the reality of the problem. That's what they don't understand. They can't see the entire problem. They are in illusion. So that is another meaning of this word, why this word is used in such a fashion, tattvam. So they said, try to understand reality. And what is reality? Reality is that there is a big problem and it cannot be solved by you. That's the reality. Reality is that there is a problem, but there's another reality that problem cannot be solved by our own efforts. And then, understanding these two realities, then you take shelter of devotion, of Hari. Otherwise, it's not possible. So that's why this word tattva means also reality.
You say if you take shelter of these two realities, which two?
Two means one is there is a big problem, and another is that this problem cannot be solved by my own efforts.
And that problem is the problem of having material desires.
Yeah. And we can't cross it by our own efforts. It's impossible. We have to accept it and recognize it. And not because of false ego we should be trying to solve this problem by our own independent efforts. We need the boat of Lord Krishna.
In the form of Guru.
Yeah, in the form of Guru, in the form of holy name, in the form of holy scriptures.
Yeah.
Guru Shast Sadhu.
But when we hear tattvam asi, right? That asi part means what?
Oh, tattvam asi. That's a Mahavakya, no? That means that. Tvam means you and asi means.
Is it shelter? Uh-oh. Did we lose you?
Is. You are.
No, I didn't. So asi means what? Because I think I didn't hear you. There was some silence.
R. Yeah. So asi means R.
Okay.
A-R-E. R. You are that. So, you're that what? You're fool. You're that fool. That's all. That's what this verse means. Tattvamasi. It doesn't mean you're God. It means you're that fool.
Well, it means you have a separate or distinct identity from Brahman.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. All right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, one question. Is there any specific word which indicates favorable desires and unfavorable desires?
What specific word means what?
Any specific Sanskrit word, Prabhu, which indicates, Yeah.
So Sanskrit word for favorable desires and unfavorable desires?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
Well, favorable desires and unfavorable desires. So okay, fine. So unfavorable desires, there's a Sanskrit word right here in this verse, vyasanam. Vyasan or vasna is generally used, or vasna, that's generally used in a negative connotation. Unfavorable desires. When you use vasna, it's always negative. That is why you, so that's why you see many horror movies. The name is Vasna, isn't it? Even in South India, I have seen Vasna. So it's always used in negative sense, in the sense of lust. That is unfavorable desire. And favorable desire. Let's see. The favorable desire, which is it's used is bhavna. Bhavna is a favorable desire. Bhavna is generally used in the favorable sense. It's not used in negative sense, isn't it? That's like mother has bhavna for a child. But we don't say mother has vasna for a child. It's crazy. A witch has a vasna for another person to drink the blood. So this is one thing we can I'm able to think there. So negative desires, okay, vasna can be used, or maybe spriha is there. Spriha is also used in negative. Spriha can be used in both senses. There are some words, Sanskrit words, which can be used for both negative and positive desires. So spriha can be used for both. Akanksha is generally used for negative desires. Vasna is definitely for negative desires, and for positive desires is bhava. So it's a full scale. I mean to say, vasna is on the negative end, and then comes akanksha, which is between negative and positive somewhere. I mean to say, between negative and zero. It is sort of negative, but it's not that negative. And then comes spriha, which is at the zero, which can be used for negative and positive both. And then on the positive axis, x-axis, there's bhava, which is mostly, mostly it is used for positive sense. And then the extreme end of the positive x-axis is prema, which is always used in a positive desire sense. So that's how it goes. Is it clear?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, one question. When Krishna is defining the good qualities, right, Prabhu say in 16th chapter, so why desires, having favorable desires is not defined, Prabhu? We see humility or those things, but not favorable desires is not counted as a favorable, like is not given as a good quality, Prabhu.
Well, favorable desires, these are all, I mean to say, amanidva, madam, mitam, these are all favorable desires. These are all manifestations of favorable desire. To be humble, to be this and this and this. Of course, they are not, because there they are speaking about process. They are not speaking about the principle. This is a process which is coming from the principle. If you have favorable desires, this process you follow, you be humble, you do this, then it will cultivate your favorable desires. But if you follow demonic qualities, it will destroy your favorable desires, it will increase unfavorable desires. So they are talking about process, that's why. But the principle is talked about in devotion. With the middle 6 chapters are talking about principle. Anukul, favorable, desires, unfavorable. But then how to increase those favorable desires or destroy them, that is divine demonic qualities. Got the point?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Okay, so
Prabhu, you said akanksha is always material desires, right? Because those are negative desires. They're always material, right?
What's
akanksha.
that?
Akanksha.
Yeah. Akanksha is mostly used for material desires, not always. Most. That's why I said it's between 0 and extreme
and
negative axis.
All right. And you also said, I know this is a repeat, but tattvam, you said, is either can be used as reality or shelter. Shelter was the other one?
No,
or was
shelter
it?
Is not that.
No, maybe desires, right? Maybe desires.
No. Tattvam is used for reality, or tattvam is used, or it is used for you are that.
Okay.
That's all. That's all it's used for.
Mm-hmm. And wait, one last thing was when you were talking about the moon can be seen as being the boat, because if you're in a boat, you can see the moon, but I mean, it doesn't seem like those two words.
No, I mean to say boat is always connected with moon and lovers and romance, isn't it? You have a night, you have full moon night, and you have lake, you have boat. Automatically, it's just romance, isn't it? And they all are connected together. So like that.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Full moon, cool moonlight, and the cool lovers, and their beloveds, and they're kissing each other. This is all moon. That's all.
Yeah, it's all romance. Yeah.
So okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji,
Okay, so
for such a beautiful class and very nice question answer session. Thank you so much for your valuable time and session, Prabhuji, this morning. It was so nice class. Is there anybody having any questions for Prabhuji? Okay, if there are no more questions for Prabhuji, we can end call here. We are offering obeisances to Prabhuji and all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpa tarobhyasya cha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय. नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.